Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Corporate Pistons, Ep07.
Welcome
How are you,
back.
Adi?
I'm
Indeed.
doing really well. Thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Sun's out. Summer is here. I'm loving the weather. I'm loving life at the moment.
Same,
It's
same.
good.
It is good. I agree. I'm in the same boat. Things are quite nice right now.
Yeah. Can't fault it.
Can't
So,
complain.
we will try for sure. Don't worry. So, I know last week we had our very first special episode. And that was a
Yes,
bit of a longer one, but for sure a very
yes,
fun one to have and discuss. We're
yes.
trying to reel things back into the standard procedure this week and back on the within the corporate framework that we have here in this very serious business of a podcast. So, with that in mind, shall we do our corporate rant of the week, Adi? How do you feel about that?
Um, yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
All right. I shall let you start. Do you have a corporate rant this week?
I don't actually because I barely worked this week because as you know, well, as you know, my I have Wednesdays off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a public holiday here in Germany um, for Corpus Christi. And
Okay.
Friday, because Thursday was off, Friday, a lot of people take off as well for a long weekend, and I did the same thing. So really, I only worked Monday and Tuesday, and even Monday and Tuesday, so many people were on vacation. I barely got to do anything. I mean, I did catch up some on some work that I needed to do for a while now, so that was good. But I don't really have any rant. The only rant would be, it's crazy hard to get stuff done during vacation season in Germany.
And I think the vacation period is just about to start in Germany, because as far as I know, not a single
Yes,
soul works in August in Germany.
yes, this is very true.
Well, must be a hard
So
life
yeah.
to be a corporate employee in Germany this time of the year. Sorry to
Oh,
hear
it's
you have
super
so many
hard.
days off, and yeah.
It's
But
it's
thank you
it's
for
it's
sacrificing yourself for us.
they talk about work-life balance. I honestly
Mm-hmm.
think June, July, and August, it's it's too many. The balance tips the other way. It's too much life and no work.
I think you're the first person in history to say that sentence.
No, this is what the Germans do.
Yeah. I mean, you give them one task. June, July, August are their fun months, and then all they do is have fun. They have it scheduled into their calendars, and that's what they do. But no,
Yeah.
I'm happy for you though. It's quite
Thank you.
funny that
Thank you so
you
much.
mentioned you don't have a corporate rant this week because, funny enough, I also don't really have a corporate rant this week.
Interesting.
It was also a short week for me, not because of
Mm,
any holiday reasons or anything. I just took Friday off so I can have my motorcycle license exam and focus on that,
mm-hmm.
which I have
How
passed.
did it
So
go?
now I am
Very good.
officially one of
Congratulations.
the. Thank you very much. And I also bought a bike last week, so it's
Yes.
firmly sitting in my garage now, and it's all the paperwork is done, and I'm
Mm,
just waiting for Monday morning when I can officially legally start riding it, because bureaucracy is also a
mm.
bitch here in Romania. So even though I passed my exam on Friday, I still need to wait till the next business working day to start riding it.
Mm.
So fun times. But
Well, at
but
least
work
there's
has
progress in life.
been decent.
That's good.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Hector has been behaving quite nicely as well. So
That's
I need
good.
to keep an eye on his oil level every now and again. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's business as usual on that front. No more oil
Excellent.
leaks or puffs of smoke or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good mix of life.
Nice.
Indeed.
It's fairly positive. I think we should try and aim for this sort of week more. I mean, not the holiday bit, that's not going to happen. We know that, but even with corporate stress, I think we should aim for this sort of positivity. I like it. Because I don't like, as much as that's sort of the center theme of our podcast. I don't really
Hmm.
like complaining. I just like getting along with it and staying positive. Um, but it is good to get things out of your chest, and that's the reason I like the podcast. So, anyway, our topic today, due to your request, is work versus on-site working versus remote work.
Yes, indeed. So I just thought we should bring this topic back into attention and have a little chat about it because I know it is quite
Mm-hmm.
a big talking point, especially in a lot of corporate jobs nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best setup for work and for the employees? We
Mm-hmm.
before the pandemic, everyone or most people were in this fully on-site working schedule where you are in the office Monday to Friday, you're doing the 9 to 5, the usual.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then during the pandemic, as you know, we all took our laptops and our depression and we went into full-time home office. And we did the work
Yes.
from home bit for several months and years. And now
Mm-hmm.
we're living in this new normal of the hybrid, sometimes work from home, sometimes work from the office environment. And I know it's
Mm-hmm.
quite a divisive topic because some people love it, some people hate it, some people don't never want to go back to the office. Some people
Yeah.
hate working from home for various reasons. So I thought we should
Yes.
take a crack at it and see, how we can solve the working setup of the corporate world and they
Mm.
say give our take on it.
I
So
agree. Yeah.
let us start by firstly, asking you, because even in our company, I think region to region, country to country, or even location to location, the rules are a bit
Mm-hmm.
different. So
Mm-hmm.
what's the gist like for you these days? What's your work setup?
So it's hybrid at the moment. We have to go in 2 days a week. It's expected that we go in 2 days of the week and show our faces. So our department or our group, we usually choose Tuesdays and Thursdays,
Okay.
which is good. But even Thursdays is sort of optional. But Tuesdays really people do take seriously, and most people do come in on Tuesdays. And that's what's been going on for, I would say, at least the last year, 1 year at least.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay. Nice. Yeah,
I'm
it's fairly
okay with
similar
it.
for on my end. I think. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and I
So
think I'm okay
you're
with
okay
it.
with
That's
it?
all. Yeah.
Ah, glad to hear that. Yeah, it's similar, I guess, for myself. I mean, obviously, I changed teams and countries fairly recently, so I don't know the full
Yeah.
full
Yeah.
history. But at the moment, I'm
Mm,
also in the hybrid setup. I think contractually, my contract says I should be in the office for like 30% of my working time, which I
mm-hmm.
think also, ramps up at around, yeah, 1 or 2 days a week. And
Mm,
normally one of those days is for sure locked in as a Wednesday because that's the day my team decided that's the day we should all get around and have our touch points and whatnot. Um,
mm,
but what I saw in this office and in this team that I'm in now compared to my other ones is that people
mm,
enjoy coming into the office a lot more. Like in the past,
mm,
like, and I'm talking, not further than last year, we were coming in
mm,
like 2 days a week, mainly due to management requirements and preference rather than our own free will. And if there was an
mm,
excuse to work from home, a lot of people were choosing to work from home. And
mm,
nowadays, what I see is that people are showing up to the office like 3, 4, maybe sometimes 5 days a week, just working from the office. And even I
Yeah.
end up going to the office like 3 or 4 days a week most weeks.
Hmm.
Mainly because I really, really like the office environment and the facilities and what it has to offer. So
Yeah, it makes a huge
that's
difference. It really makes a huge difference. If the people coming in are nice and they create a nice positive environment and you feel motivated to go into the office, then yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In my case though, I don't mind going in the 1 or 2 days. Like for example, next week, even though they expect us to come in Tuesday and Thursday, I actually have to go on Monday as well because I have to pick up a component from one of the labs and bring it to the logistics department so they can ship it to the customer.
hmm
So there's every now and then a small task like that comes up and I have to go in extra, and that's okay. Um, it depends who you ask. If the work environment and if your coworkers are great and you actually enjoy going to work, then it actually makes it a pleasure to go into work. For me, my colleagues and most of the people that I sit around with, they're nice people, but they're not sort of my people. You know what I mean? Like I don't. They're very nice. I get along with all of them. They're very kind, very friendly. If I need some help, I can ask them to see their projects and how they may have done it. All that's there, no problem. But
hmm
I don't gel with them. I don't bond with them. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't have like a fun. I don't feel like, oh, this is genuinely fun to be at work. Like I don't feel that. It just feels like work with some nice people. That's it. Um,
Oh,
and
okay.
and as you know, like my startup on the other hand is completely remote. Everybody lives in different parts of the world, and we just all work online. And
Mhm.
of course, that's not possible for a company like ours where we work because a lot of things has to be like physical components and physically done in a lab or something, and you physically have to be present. It's not something you can do at work. Like some of the engineers and the mechanics and the lab people, they have to come to work, and that's different. um but yeah,
But
I
here's the
what
thing.
I'm trying to say. Hmm?
During the pandemic, I totally get there were certain roles and certain areas of the business that obviously could not go fully remote. But if you think about it, the during the pandemic, the guys like us, that are just pushing emails around, project managers, sales, those sort of things, we did go into full remote mode for
We
a
did,
couple of
yeah, we
years.
did.
And
That's yeah.
last time I checked, the world wasn't burning, at least not from that reason. The world is
That
burning
is
right now, but
exactly
that's a
that is exactly the point I was going to make. I guess it just depends on the company and what it really needs, uh, and of course the employees as well. But most of these just computer jobs that we have, I don't really think even this, come to the office at least 2 days is necessary. Um, I
yeah.
think you can give the people a lot more freedom. I mean, nobody is stopping them from going into the office if they want to, but I really don't think it's necessary. I mean, yes, I know, I get what people say. Oh, it makes a lot more. It's so much easier to actually see your colleagues and meet them in person and have. Yes, I get all that, but exactly like you said, the world didn't is not burning up. Nothing went to hell during the COVID, and people made it. In fact, people got a lot more productive. Like they got a lot of their time back, and I don't know. It really depends on who you ask. But me personally, I don't think it's necessary for office desk jobs.
I get it. The one interesting thing that I see in my case is I became very proficient at doing my job remotely during COVID and in the years after. Like, I could,
Hmm.
like you said, I could manage my whole activities easily from a beach in the Caribbean with a pina colada in my hand. Like, I could have taken care of
Exactly.
all the tasks as long as I had a good enough Wi-Fi and a charger to plug in
Exactly.
my laptop. I was good to go.
Good to go. Yeah,
However,
exactly.
once I started going to the back to the office a bit more, and especially
Mm,
now where I'm in a team where I get along very well with my colleagues and we're all kind of working on similar tasks, so there's a lot of information sharing and discussions, both on work topics and non-work topics, but there's a lot of interaction and fun chats going around in the team.
mm,
I realized
mm,
that my productivity when working from home has started to decrease because I
mm,
get to a point where when I'm in the office, get more stuff done simply because my brain is like, okay, I'm in a work environment, everyone around me is doing work, I should be doing work as
mm,
well. Whereas if I'm left
mm,
alone to my own devices at home and
mm,
I'll be like, okay, now I do work, I can
mm,
so easily procrastinate and get myself sidetracked with non-work-ish tasks, which is, in case my manager
mm,
is listening, I'm sure he'll love to hear this part. But
mm.
yeah, that's why and now I prefer going to the office just because it keeps my brain more focused on the work topics and my
Work stuff.
productivity
Yeah.
up there.
Mm. See,
Because
for
yeah.
me, it's sort of. I agree with you. There are days where I don't feel motivated at home, and I make it a point to go into work, and my mindset comes back. But those days are much rare for me. Like they're not as often. And I fully understand if you have days like that, and if you're feeling like that on a regular basis, it makes more sense. But for me, it's sort of the other way around. Every time I go into work, there are all these people like trying to talk to me, like trying to, I mean, they're being nice. I'm not complaining, but I can't get anything done that I would normally get done. And at home, I'm like bam, 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 getting it done. Even with people calling, I managed to do a bit more work than I usually do at work. The only time that I'm super productive at work is when I have to use two different Excel spreadsheets, and I can use the double screen because the I have a monitor at home, but it's a just a small monitor, just one single one. And so, like
Hmm.
having two big Excel spreadsheets, it makes sense to have two big monitors, and especially if you have to copy paste or compare documentation and stuff like that, it makes more make it
Yeah,
makes
but
it easier to be more productive. But from a people perspective, I don't know. I'm not as productive at work anymore. Like I said, there are days when I want to go there and just to get a work mindset going. But other than that, I'd rather just stay at home and finish the work and move on to other things because I have quite a few other things happening around me. So
sounds to me like you're a 200 euro investment away from having no excuse to go to the office if you buy another large monitor to stick in your home setup.
I wish that were true, Bogdan, but I don't think my manager and my department head would be happy about that. So
Well, yeah, that aside, I'm saying, you could easily just invest the 200 euros, get a monitor, and then off you go.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
but another thing that I realized makes a huge difference, at least for me and in the office area, is my
Mhm.
previous office when I was in London used to be in the middle of nowhere. Like it was marked as a London office, but it wasn't in London. Like it was, barely inside the London metropolitan area. Like it was, honestly, it
Mm.
was neighboring postcodes to London. And
Mm.
getting there was a pain. Luckily, I had a car, so it made it a bit easier, but still, it was a fair commute. I think it was something like 30-ish something kilometers to drive in and
Mhm.
out. Sorry, to drive
Mhm.
in and then another 30-ish something kilometers to go back home. But
Mhm.
distance aside, it was okay. It had a decent canteen. It had nice-ish areas and was all colorful and everyone was hot desking and you could sit anywhere and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But it was still a very depressing sight when you went into the office building and back out of it. Whereas where I'm at now, the office is literally city center. It's one of those, tall, fancy skyscraper-ish buildings. You can
Nice.
have your coffee and smoke on the fifth floor terrace or whatever, and just enjoy the panoramic view. Um,
Nice.
it's the moment you get out of the building, you're a 2 minute walk from the city center, and you can stop at a cafe on the riverside and whatnot. So, there's a
Oh.
whole different vibe, and there's a
Hmm.
very nice, very well equipped gym right in the office building. So all I have to do is like walk down a couple flights of stairs, and I'm in the gym, and I'm like
Hmm.
zero
Hmm.
excuses to not work out. Not that I am working out, I still
Nice.
found the excuses, but
Yeah.
the opportunities are there. I
That
could work out.
that never ends. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But
The
yeah,
bitching
I
and
think
moaning never ends. Yes.
not with me especially. But yeah, I think the physical location and the opportunities that the office is offering also makes a huge difference in the motivation that, or yeah, and to go
Hmm.
there and what makes people want to be physically there.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. I guess it all comes down to mindset, like what frame of mind and mindset do you want to have? And if the office is giving you something that you want deep down, then you're motivated to go. And yeah, like especially in your case, you said your colleagues are also nice. Like there's like on work and off work discussions and all that. It really does make a difference. But for me, yeah, me personally, as you know, I'm sort of on like two paths at the same time. And so for
Hmm.
me, it makes a lot more sense to just stay at home, get stuff done, keep keep moving on to other things because there's so much to do and so little time. Yeah,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I also enjoy, having the luxury to throw in a load of clothes in the washing machine in between a couple of meetings and then hang them out on the
correct.
dryer in between another couple of meetings later on and stuff like that. I think that is
Exactly.
a luxury and a benefit that I'm not gonna complain about.
Exactly.
And
You get
I
it.
think, the thing is,
It's all
what I
about the
realized over
luxury.
time is if people want to slack off at work and not do anything, it doesn't matter if they're doing home office or physically in the office, that work
Exactly.
still isn't gonna get
Exactly.
done. And I
Exactly.
think
It,
the
it
reverse
really
holds
depends
true.
on the person.
Yeah,
Exactly. And if people want to be productive, they're going to be productive no matter what. It's all just, yeah, it's all just what's in your mind and what you really want to do with your life, sort of thing. Exactly.
exactly.
I agree. That is the bottom line. I really completely agree.
That being said,
I'd
it
be
is
curious
easier
to,
to search for car parts on the internet when you're working from home than from the office. Just because people tend to look a bit dodgy if they walk past you and your monitor is just filled with like sport intakes, aftermarket air filters, turbos, and stuff like that when your job isn't really dealing with those components.
well, I try to keep it as disciplined as possible, to be honest, even when I'm at home. So,
Yeah, no, I do
um,
occasionally go down a rabbit hole of tuning car parts and all sorts of ideas, just window shopping, figuring out, how many kidneys do I have to sell for this or the other car part.
so how many kidneys do you actually have left? Half, maybe, or a quarter at this point, or
Uh, Mate, I already pawned and sold the kidneys from future reincarnations, honestly. Like there's a waiting list,
so
like three lifetimes away
you're
from here.
on debt. You're on a
I'm on
kidney
kidney
debt.
debt.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh man. All right,
yeah.
gotcha.
That being
What?
said, I do think about giving Hector like a bigger turbo some days, or I was looking at some coilovers and strut bars the other day, just you know, making him even more rigid and stuff. But the way things are
I
going, I
don't.
think I
I
should
never
start with
understood
a
that.
oil pan.
Fair enough. I
What
think that's a more prudent investment.
what did you never get about my shopping spree, or what was it?
No, not your shopping spree. Making the ride harder. Honestly, the last like 5 to 6 years, every time
Yeah.
I think about like modding a car or like starting like a project car or something, the first thing I think of is like, how do I make it a lot like this, especially the suspension and the ride quality? How do I make it a lot more comfortable and more like a cruiser? Like if you read these reviews about uh, Alpina cars, the BMWs that's
Mm-hmm.
converted into Alpina, the
Yeah.
first thing people say is like how beautifully it rides, and I've driven an Alpina actually. I've driven an Alpina
Ooh.
D3, um, last generation, the
Okay.
F80 series,
Nice.
uh, and my God, they're right. Like on a normal road, like where there's like potholes and stuff, like uneven road, it's not very great. In a normal car, it's bumpy. This one just glides over. Yet at the same time, you can take an Alpina to like a nice canyon road or like some sort of like Swiss Alpine pass and still have tremendous, tremendous fun. And that's the sort of thing I like. I hate it when car companies and tuners just absolutely stiffen up the ride just for no reason, thinking that it'll make their car sporty somehow. It doesn't, or at least I don't believe it does. But anyway, each to their own, I suppose. But I can't complain.
See, I
I'm just,
get that. For me, I like a bone-shattering stiff suspension in my cars, to be honest. Like
okay. In
I
that
just
case,
do.
okay,
Like
okay.
I don't know. There is something about it when you're going down a road, and yes, you feel every pothole, and every time there's like a little jump or a pothole or something, you feel your kidney stones dissolving from the sheer impact going
Good
through your
Lord.
body. But at the same time, that does translate to usually quite good handling on the curves. And it's for those 1 to 3 maybe curves that you get on a 200-kilometer ride where it's actually worth the pain and the suffering. But regardless, I had some seriously ridiculous project cars in the past, and
Yeah.
and we're talking here full race bucket seats, super sporty suspension, stuff like that. And I was
Oh God.
doing Romania to Germany and back with those cars. And after
Oh God.
12, 13, 15 hours in the driving seat, I was still fine. Like I was getting out of there and I was like, cool, let's party. I wasn't feeling exhausted or my joints still worked and all that. So either I'm built different or it's really not that bad or uncomfortable as people claim it to be. I
Bogdan,
would
I
love to
think.
have a smart suspension like the Alpina cars, where it's just gliding over bumps and then stiff on the curves for sure. But I don't have the budget to put that, especially in a Mini Cooper.
But but Bogdan, with everything you just said about hard suspension, that like 1 to 3% of the time it makes sense and it's worth it to endure the pain. I just wanted to tell you that there are other easier ways of admitting that you're into S&M. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's completely okay. You don't have to make it such an elaborate way to admit that you're into that. That's okay. We accept you no matter what, Bogdan.
Oh, thank you, Adi. Yeah, we all have our own fetishes and kinks. I guess that's fine.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
And yeah, so I'm glad you're able to admit this now, but yeah, don't worry. It's all good.
so I shouldn't have made all this elaborate plot and paid for a driver's license and got a motorcycle just to admit that I was looking for an excuse to dress up in leather.
Exactly. That was
Ah,
going to be
damn
my
it.
next point as well. We get it. You like leather harnesses, whips, some pain. It's all part of the deal. We understand you now. We understand so much more of you now. It's all good, my friend.
How did we get to this point, honestly? Like, I, I feel like this
Oh
is
my God.
payback for the wank station conversation in the last episode, honestly.
What do you mean feel like it is?
Oh boy.
Uh, next thing you know, you're booking dungeons as Airbnb and calling it a weekend, and who knows?
Is that what's happening on your lake trips to somewhere remote in the mountains, Adi? Just
No, that's yours, my friend. You're the one that lives near Transylvania, where the
yeah,
dungeons
yeah,
are.
true. But then again, you live in Germany where all the kinky stuff happens, so
This is true.
each
This
their
is
own.
true.
Do you have any trips planned to Berlin in the near future?
No, actually, I do want to go, but no. I was just, hoping you could tell me from your past experiences because I'm not really into that, and I want to avoid these places.
Honestly, I've only been to Berlin once for like a couple of hours layover in between flights, so haven't really seen the outside of the airport much. So sorry,
They
you're
didn't
on
have
your own
a
there, but
they
do
didn't
feel free
have
to
a they
explore and
didn't
let
have
me
a
know.
center at the airport itself for your needs.
No, no. Like I
I'm
said,
just
haven't
kidding.
really
I'm
left the
just kidding.
airport.
Fair enough.
Uh, but
Tell me,
reeling it back
I'm
to
just looking.
corporate and cars, I think we just have enough time for our for the car of the week, and more exactly, what would you be driving this week, Adi? On your way to some furry convention on or whatever it is you're doing over there?
This weekend, I wanted to keep uh, something like because the sun is out, the weather is nice, everything's very summery. I wanted to keep
Mm-hmm.
it very light, like super light car, but obviously like a convertible.
Mm-hmm.
I was deciding between a Lotus Elise convertible
I knew it.
and
And
or even simpler, like a Miata, like a Mazda MX-5 convertible,
ooh,
which is already convertible. But then I decided, no, there's something better than both, which is, at least in my mind, which is a Honda S2000. I don't know if I've actually
ooh,
mentioned this because I love
nice.
that car. It's really, really nice car. I had a chance once, very briefly, very, very briefly, to drive it in the US, and it was very nice. So, yeah, that's
Honestly,
what
the
I would go
second
for.
you said you were going for something lightweight and convertible, the Lotus logo just pumped into my head. Like, I don't know why. When you say
Yeah,
lightness and convertible, that's just
it's
Lotus has
always
to
a
be the
Lotus,
next
isn't
word in
it?
the
Yeah.
sentence. But they all come
I
together
mean,
as a trio.
Chapman, the guy at Lotus, like I don't know if he created Lotus, but the main man at Lotus for a long time, his
Hmm.
main motto was simplify and add lightness. That was like the whole ethos on which Lotus as a car company was built. So yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about you though?
Ooh, well, obviously, this whole weekend I'm burning to for Monday to come so I can ride my motorcycle. But if we're sticking to four wheels rather than two, um, yeah, I guess, it is summer and it is convertible season for sure. So,
Mm-hmm.
that was my original thought. But then I was browsing Facebook this morning and
Mm,
I saw someone posted some pictures from a car show that happened recently, and I
mm.
saw a very pristine looking Dodge Viper,
Oh
and
my God.
honestly, that thing looks like porn on wheels. So I
It
was like,
is.
yes, please. Those are the curves that I need in my life right now, and
Eight
yes, yeah, that thing.
0.3 liters of V10 craziness, that car. But yeah, I that's a good choice. That's a very good choice. Well done.
Yeah, I don't even care. It's not a convertible. I would just put down the windows and just floor it and
Cruise,
let
yeah.
the engine make the talking. Like that
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
I would love to give that thing a go.
Yeah. And I
But
think that sort of brings it to a close for our podcast today.
indeed, it does. We've
Well,
kind of
it is good that we
sorted
keep
out
it short because,
remote work. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mm, No, I agree. I think we started going a bit overboard in the last few episodes. So we are listening to the feedback that we're getting. So we're trying it to reel it back in.
really back,
And
back, back.
no promises, but we are trying. And yeah, I think Adi, all that is left now is for your infamous and world-renowned catchphrase, and we can bring the episode to a close.
Ah, well, I do want to encourage our listeners, the 3.5 listeners that we now have, to really chime in and like comment as well, because we are really open to like new topics and different topics to talk about and hear your thoughts that we can even share in the podcast. So I hugely recommend all of you to chime in the comment
Yes,
section.
please.
But also, yes, but also share, like, and subscribe. Spread the love,
Indeed.
spread the word.
Indeed, and you can like, comment, subscribe, and like you said, Adi, share your feedback with us either directly on our Instagram page at Corporate Pistons, send us a DM, send us a comment, send us a like, whatever you feel like, or
Yes.
straight on YouTube, also at Corporate Pistons. Feel free to drop a like, drop a comment to our video, and yeah, just feel free to share your thoughts. But
Mm-hmm.
that's been the episode for this week. Hope you have a great week ahead, and we shall speak to you in the next one. So, goodbye, everyone, and have a
Ciao,
good one.
ciao.
Bye.
Toodles.